Welcome to Monograph Matters. I'm talking today with Kimberly Nesbitt and Dale Farran about their SRCD monograph on the effects of pre-kindergarten curricula. This discussion focuses on teachers' implementation of curricula in the classroom.
In a previous question, you all had talked about what teachers get from their pre-service education curricula and preparation programs. What is your experience working with teachers as they implement curricula in the moment as they are already teachers?
So I've been engaged with classrooms and teachers all my career, but as I mentioned earlier, only in the past 20 or so years have we really begun to think about curricula and early childhood. So I worked closely with many different school systems, and I've become acutely aware of the pressures that teachers are under. Certainly in a research study like the one we conducted on tools of the mind, teachers had little, and we talk about this in the monograph, teachers had little say in the school system's decision to participate in the research. And this is typical. Teachers are then asked to learn a new curriculum and implement it. And sometimes it has the kind of in-depth preparation that we describe in our monograph, but sometimes it doesn't. And my experience is that most teachers are remarkably patient and willing to try out a new approach, whether or not it fits their own personal philosophy. But in everyday practice, not just in a research study, school system administrators tend to make decisions about what curriculum teachers will use. Sometimes there's some teacher representation on the committee that makes the choice. And typically teachers may be given some in-service professional development right at the beginning, but without much follow-through or continued training. And I've seen school systems continue to pile on new approaches, say adopting a particular curriculum and then adding a social emotional curriculum, or a personal health and safety set of activities, or in one case, handwriting without tears on top of the curriculum. All teachers are being asked without much training to somehow integrate all of these things in their classrooms. And for many, it becomes too much, and teachers suffer burnout as a result, or they just put their heads down and don't call attention to themselves, and knowing this too will pass, and a new superintendent will create all new expectations. I worked intensively with 26 classrooms over 4 years in one school systems and learned many important lessons. One of which is that providing extensive real-time data did not bring about the sort of changes in interactions we thought it would. We didn't understand that our feedback was just one of the several competing and demanding voices teachers had to deal with. So I know that Kim is going to talk about a sort of different process that she's following in order to create for what we found was that very few things changed very few practices changed over the 4 years that we work with these teachers.
So that project Dale was just referring to is one that has dramatically impacted how I do my current research. And one of those that, it's this idea of community-based participatory research, which has this explicit aim on bridging the gap between research and evaluation and the actual practices. And this is done through partnerships between researchers and community stakeholders. And so really what we're asking is, how do we expect to make lasting change on the quality of early childhood education unless we engage teachers, administrators, and stakeholders in this process? And that view really has informed some of the work that I'm doing now that is happening here in New Hampshire with some very amazing folks at both our state level as well as the local level. And what we're doing is that we actually had a state mandate for play-based kindergarten. So it became legislation in New Hampshire that kindergarten had to be play-based. And so the question becomes, well, how does that actually get enacted in classrooms? And so we have coaches that are embedded in classrooms, working hands-on with teachers to help them try to identify and implement strategies, taking into consideration their current curriculum expectations. How can they take that and adapt that to be more playful, to have hands-on and active components? And I have to say, this has been some of the most rewarding work that I've seen, is really working with teachers as partners through this process. I can't tell you how well it's going yet. We got delayed in our evaluation of this year, but I'm looking forward to, evaluating that work in the future, because I think that is a different model.
Great. That sounds really exciting. Giving teachers voice and giving input and really paying attention to their expertise and all of their insights that they have, being the people on the ground.
Thank you for watching this video on the Monograph issue, Effects of Pre-Kindergarten Curricula, Tools of the Mind as a Case Study by Nesbitt and Farran. If you liked this video, please consider watching our Monograph Matters playlist. For additional resources related to this and other issues of the monographs of the Society for Research in Child Development, please visit monographmatters.srcd.org.